like the hardest part of this whole thing. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. No, I was panicking. I can see you. I can't get in.
There's nothing worse either than like just hanging in dead air. I was like, hi.
This is one thing me and Felicia have in common. Heck no. We don't go well. We don't work.
Well, we made it. We're on. We're good to go.
Okay.
That's the only thing that matters. We're doing this thing. So.
Hi. So nice to officially meet you.
I know. I feel like I know you, but yes, nice to meet you face to face.
I know, and to fangirl over you.
Likewise.
So dark in the best way possible.
Thank you. It means a lot from you.
So I've never done one of these things before. The Instagram Live, like I said.
Never? Really? Like I'm your first?
Yeah.
First. I'm so honored. Yeah. All right. So like we're both newbies, so let's do it.
Because I was having a hard time getting in. I'm like, I have no idea if I'm doing this the right way. But here, all is well. And thanks everybody who showed up. Oh my gosh, you've got Canada, Belgium, like all the places are here. Yay.
Yeah, there are lots of people joining. I know, and then I like randomly like turned somebody else's camera on and popped them on. I'm like, I don't even know how I did that, but like, yeah. So it's been a whole thing. Yeah, somebody else, I let somebody else in. I don't know.
Oh, well.
I have no idea. Yeah, but so we're here.
So,
one of our own.
Yeah.
3 days ago. 3 days ago now? It's been like a long 3 days since it came out. But I don't know if you've seen, but it's gotten amazing reviews.
I know, I've been seeing that. Congrats. Is this the first just like audio special you've done?
I did one other one. But this is the first, and Simon and Schuster is sort of like paving the way on this one. Like this is the first that's like fully produced audio, right? So it's the first where you and Chloe have like have the phone calls, right? And you hear those phone calls and all of those sounds. Like it's the first that I've done anything that was fully produced audio. So this was like a whole new experience for me too. Like all of the phone calls throughout like the whole book, like all of that basically had to be written like a script, you know? And so it was a very different way of writing because those parts were all script.
Yeah. So it was kind of a really cool hybrid of a script and a novel, which was really cool, especially for someone like me who I really but even the unscripted parts, it reads like a script. Like you're in it. You are in it. It's hard to once you start on this one, it's hard to like pause and go do something else. It really sucks you in. And
was it hard for you as a mom? Like, because I know that you're a mom. Like, was it? Because I feel like this is another one of mine that's like, if you're a mom, like this one's gonna be tough. And I'm a mom of a teenage boy, so
it's impossible. This one is impossible if you are a mom. Like I can't even I can't even imagine having to go through something like that and having to face something like that. What inspired you to write this particular one? I know you come from a psychology background in which you can really see it in your writing. So what inspired you for? It's dark, but it's real dark.
Well, that's why you're the perfect person for it. I mean, come on. Like, dark. Yeah, I mean, you can handle it. So I think, so here's the thing. One of the things that I'm super fascinated with is, so my background is psychology, my background is children. But one of the things that the relationships that we don't look at sort of enough is like the parent-child relationship, in the sense that whenever something happens in a kid's life, right? Like we point the finger always directly at the parents, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, and we sort of like can vilify the parents as much as we can the kids. And I'm talking about like when kids do really bad stuff, like that happens in this book, like really bad stuff. And, we always think like the parents are these horrible people. But sometimes, like, the parents are great, loving, caring, your average American sort of white picket fence, middle class families who did everything that they possibly could and poured all kinds of love, all kinds of support, all kinds of attention into, nurturing and growing up their child, and then they turn around and do something horrific, And so I really love to get at that, like, can a kid be born bad, but from the eyes of a parent,
Yeah. Something I've always been really fascinated with, especially through the years of Criminal Minds, is I love when we ask that question, the nature versus nurture debate. And this one really, really touches on that, right? Because, it's in him. Those genes are in there. So you could definitely argue this one is more of a nature situation than nurture. But yeah,
but it really is. It's like, what would you do if your kid did something absolutely horrible, right? And like like that's just
yeah. And the other thing I really loved about this is that it's not something we think about because we're so quick to point the finger at the parents, and we automatically think, oh gosh, what are their parents like? Or you automatically go there. It's just ingrained in you to do that, and it just after reading this book, it feels so incredibly unfair and judgmental and biased, and it's something that we don't see often, or ever. And it really, it asks, it just asks you to, have a different point of view on it for a second. And I can't even imagine having to be in this situation as a mother. It's impossible. It is an impossible situation. But you really do. You feel for Felicia, and there's just so much heartbreak in all of the storylines here.
So social media, right? Like the secret lives of the secret lives of teenagers that they live now, and like what are they really doing and what's happened, and that whole. It's a little bit hard to talk about the book without giving too much away, but it's like all of that piece that's so much like central to their existence now, and like what can happen, now that in the world of social media, in within the world of being a teenager, and it's terrifying. It's terrifying. Like
the world is so much bigger, for them now. They have access to everything. It's frightening, and that's one of the many things I connected and identified in my own life while reading this was just Felicia's, like going through his phone, like there. Instagram's like not even
right.
Like it's right. To us, and just all these other apps, and there's so many now. They're crazy. Like you could put anything on there and it's gone in 24 hours. Nothing's ever gone. Right. So we keep trying to drill into them. But just that it feels like there's this other life that your child is living, and there's no way of knowing, what's going on in there. In there, I say it like that phone,
right?
Like, what's?
But it really is.
It is. And it's so different from how I was raised, and so it's tricky to try to, figure all that out with them, because most of the time when you start questioning them, like they just shut down or they just, ignore it or whatever. It's hard to kind of get them to open up about things.
Sure.
Especially boys. I've got boys. So.
Do you have boy? Yeah, I have a boy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a boy. So yeah.
And that's what was so heartbreaking because I have a teenage son as well who just started high school, and let me tell you,
buckle up, buckle up. It's only just put your seatbelt on and just keep it on for the next. Yeah, I'm in your. Yeah, mine's a sophomore, so wow, I feel you. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it is just such a different world than the one I grew up in too, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Nuts. And they think it's hilarious that we don't really know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, here's a question for you, and here's what that I know all of your fans, I'm sure, want to know, is that, so in the book, you play Felicia. For anyone that's watching that doesn't know it, she's Felicia. And how do you think that your character in Criminal Minds, JJ, would have approached this scenario? How would she have handled things? Like, would she have handled them similar to, like, would she have given out her phone number? Like, because that's not a spoiler. Everybody knows the call comes in, and she gives out her number. So what are your thoughts on that? How do you think JJ would have responded?
That's so tough. Well, I mean, I think every parent would like to think that they would have seen signs before, but no, life's busy, life's hectic. You're a working mom. There's a lot going on, and when we're talking about certain personalities, they're really good at putting on the mask and playing that role for certain people that they're in front of. So I think it's hard to say, oh well, I think I would have known or whatever. But yeah, I think she would try. I think she would kind of handle it similarly because it's your worst fear, right? So you don't want to assume the worst, but you also want to have your pulse on it. Like you want to take the pulse. You don't want to push him away, and you want to do your detective work. But yeah, I mean, she knows people though. She would have just still.
That's true. She would have a few more connections.
Yeah,
Felicia, for sure.
Bottom of it, real quick. But then there's the question of what do you do as a mom? Like, what do you even do with that information? It's too. Some things are just too heavy and too difficult to process and to even know what to do. So I don't know, and that's why I keep coming to the same answer, which is this: it's impossible. This is an impossible scenario, and I don't know. I do not know.
Were there any parts that were hard for you to record, hard to do?
Oh yeah, several. Where I just some of it just felt so raw, and maybe because I do have a teenage boy, and just how difficult the whole scenario is. But I found it really difficult to hold it together a lot of the times. It's heartbreaking, and it was not difficult at all to feel emotion while reading this book, doing the narration. And I guess that was surprising for me. This is the first time I've done a narration of a book before. And wow, that was a whole process. It was a really cool process, but it takes some getting used to. You think, oh, I just go and I read a book out loud. Well, let me tell you. It's more difficult than it sounds. But yeah, it's. I found that some of the scenes were just really kind of. You're really good at. I'm sorry, I'm so all over the place. You're really
following you.
Me. It felt like my voice in a lot of those moments of just what it feels like to be a mom with a teenager. And so that, therefore, that was very easy for me to just kind of step inside of that. Whereas I wasn't expecting it to be so raw with reading it out loud. I think because
but I think that that's like one of the things that I loved about your voice in it was that it was like so raw. Like you could feel that. Like honestly, like a lot of times, like I've written like a few books, right? And so and had you know like a couple, but and like I always whenever I hear it, right, when I actually hear the Audible version for the first time, I'm always like, because it never, you know, it's always like this an adjustment from like what their voices sounded like in my head on the page, and then like what it translated to. But and I'm not just saying this, when I got like the first whatever it was, like that you had done like the first couple, I don't even maybe it was the completed thing, whatever it was. When I listened to it, when I listened to your voice as you know that opening for the first time, I was like, it was like the first time that I didn't have like an aversive reaction almost immediately. I was like, oh my God, she actually did it. Like you did it. Like you had the rawness with like it really was perfect. Like it was, and that was a first in my experience. So yeah, that I was like, she nailed it. Yeah.
I think that was the most unexpected thing for me in this process of doing this, recording it. Because as an actor, you know, like you memorize everything and you get it in your head and you kind of like workshop it a little bit and rehearse and you do it and you find that emotion eventually. But this was just so like raw, and I was so surprised at how vulnerable I was and how it just came out whether I wanted it to or not. And as I was doing it, it was all very surprising, and I feel like I learned a lot about
I like that it took you on a journey too.
Damn, I wish it was this easy to act and have that kind of spill out of you. But for whatever reason, where I am in my life right now with a teenager and high school and the social media and just we've known so many people who've been affected by these types of things happening to them. You know, it's always a girl, teenage girl. No matter how many times you say it, stuff like this happens, and just how I just couldn't imagine having to deal with that as a kid. You know, it's I worry for all of you.
Right? Or even like knowing, I think like even knowing like where everybody was at all times and like what you've been left out of, right? Like there's like bliss and like you know, people are hanging out, you don't know, you know, but like yeah, it's like you know everything you've been left out, you know, just I mean there's so many different layers and levels and variables, but yeah.
And I just feel like our human brains aren't meant to know all of these things all at once, especially still forming teenage brain. It's just way too much information. But you're a specialist in that area, not me.
yes. I spent many years there, so now I just write about it and try to manage my own.
Is it like therapeutic to you, cathartic, like writing, or not so much? It's just you just love a good story.
Both. It depends on like what sort of writing I'm doing. Like both. I love a good story. Like I do. I love a good story. I'm very like, and that's how I write. Like I write sort of like for the experience in the story. I'm not like a flowery prose sort of a person. It's like I'm all about the story. I'm all about the entertainment. But then there's also this piece that I don't know if I would call it catharsis, but one of the things that I really enjoy doing is just making people think about issues in ways that they haven't before. And I think that you get them to do that by when they're connected to a character, right? Because it's outside of themselves, you know? And I think it's easier when you're connected to somebody else and looking through their lens to see things differently, you know? So I like to do that. I like to make people, you know, think I'm the queen of like, what would you do? You know, well, what would you do? And we always think that we know what we'll do, and we never actually know. Nobody ever actually knows what you'll do in a situation until you're in it. So, yeah. And I like, you know, I like to make people feel and like feel things. So.
Well, you definitely accomplish all of that, and then with this one. Sure.
Thank you.
So, was there any particular scene or part of this story that you were most excited to hear?
I wanted to say the phone calls because all of the stuff that was written like a script, I was like the most excited to hear because I had never done that before. So I wanted to, and I wanted to see how that would play out and what it would sound like once it was finished. And it like far exceeded my expectations. Yeah.
Those played out really well. She was
really
great.
Did.
Her voice and that teenage energy and then my voice.
No, not even.
Heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. Poor girl. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Tessa did an amazing job too. I mean, this was one of the funnest projects that I did last year. Just you know, because of the different writing and
something new. It's always good.
Something new, something different. Yeah, a different way to do it. So
nice. Yeah.
Do you want to? I know we have like limited time, and I want to be respectful of your time too. Do you want to take a couple of these questions that are coming through, or what do you think?
Yeah, why not? Let's do a couple.
Let's do a couple of questions. It's up there.
Okay.
A question. Anyone have any questions? Thank you very much.
Gemily. I'm seeing a lot of Gemily. What you guys got? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's like kind of fast too.
Oh, do we get Gemily? And hey, I'll just say this. There is going to be the ultimate Gemily moment coming up in season 7. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody just asked, why did you choose to narrate a book? Ooh, that's a good question. I didn't even think about that. What made you decide to narrate your first book?
Well, we were on our whole industry shut down for a year, and so I kind of shifted my focus a little bit toward more voice work, which I have really enjoyed. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did, and then this opportunity came up, and I jumped all over it because again, I always like to push myself and learn new skills, and and this was something so completely out of the AJ handbook, like something and it was scary. It was a little scary to me too. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Let's see how this goes. And after the first hour, I was in full panic mode because it's a weird until you don't get it, but your mind plays tricks on you when you're reading. Like your brain changes words around and moves things around, and I was in full panic mode. I was like, oh dear Lord, they're probably thinking, what the hell have we done asking us to do this? And I'm like a perfectionist too, so I'm like, why are these words not coming out of my mouth the way they're supposed to? So I was really glad I did, and there's something really cool about only having your voice to act with. Like it's just that. And I feel I feel like it was kind of a cool exercise for me in a way, because on the screen we get the face and all of it, but I feel like it hopefully has made me a better actor, because you kind of forget when you can only focus on one thing to tell the story. It'll grow and it becomes a little bit better. So it helped me not be so monotone. So that. But I know.
Do you think you do it again? Do you think you'd do it again?
Yeah, I think so, because it was so scary and so different for me. I would love to go back and try it again to see if it ever does get easier. See, what else I could do with it, because the first time is like you're working out the kinks and trying to figure it out. But yeah, I would love to. It was a really cool process for me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, same. How long did it take to record the book?
Oh gosh, I think we did it it was 3 days. I think we broke it up. Did a little bit each day. I think we did like 4 hours each day. I think it was a while ago.
Somebody just said you should do the app Calm. That's fun. Do you know that app, the meditation app?
Yeah, I know. I would love to. I keep, like I said, like this whole like voice work thing is new for me. So I'm dying to just do, because it's a really hard world to break into, like the world of voiceovers.
Okay.
They have a handful of people that they use all the time, and rightfully so, because it's a difficult thing, and like the more you do it, the better you get. So my dream would be to get, like a cartoon or something, or anything, or the Calm app. I'll read you all down.
I thought that was funny. Somebody asked, it's so funny, I'm pulling all of the questions for you. Like, skip all of Lucinda. Are you a reader? That's what I would ask of you too. Are you a reader? What do you read?
Yeah, I mean, not as much as I read a lot of scripts. Surrounded by scripts everywhere. But yes, I do. I love, let's see, what was the last one I read? The last one I read was Lessons in Chemistry.
Okay.
Which was, I loved it. I thought it was really great. But yeah, I like to read, I don't know, another one that I read not too long ago was Daisy Jones and the Six. I don't know. I like just, shutting this off, going off into another world, and I like books that'll make me laugh and cry at the same time. Have some life, I'm not like a huge science fiction.
Yeah, I can never keep track of like all of the different worlds, and there's so many characters, and like how do you follow all of that? It's like so much thinking.
I just turn it off. Something a little light.
Yeah.
What about
Lucinda makes me cry every time.
You write a lot.
I do write a lot. I wish that I could read more. I'm always like all of these authors that are like, here's all these books I'm reading. I'm like, how do you have time to read all the books when you're writing all the books? I don't understand. But yeah, and like when I'm doing like any sort of like first draft writing and creating, I don't like to read any like thrillers or anything like really in my genre, because I just don't like it mucking up my voice. And I write a lot, and I'm doing, so I don't, when I'm like in my downtime where I'm just like editing or like not working on like a project, then I like sort of binge read, right? So it's like I have like, if it's like a weekend that I have the case, like I might just like binge read, and then I don't get to read a book for like another month and a half, I mean, I might read nonfiction. Like I read a lot of nonfiction, always. But yeah, fiction I don't get to read. Like there's so many good books out there that I haven't been able to read yet. You know, I mean, my TBR list is like ginormous.
I know.
So,
Same.
Yeah, I'm like
all of it.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Hey, what else we got?
Let's see. We can take a couple more probably. An Audible. When will there be a Higher Ground reunion?
Whoa! All that back. That's like the first series I ever did.
Was it? Okay, I was like, wow, what's that one?
And it was a long time ago.
So no reunion. I mean, your voice was a huge hit. I mean, there are so many comments about your voice. The calm was my favorite one, though. The calm was my favorite one.
Hello, everybody. Someone just hey, hi. I'm all of you.
Do you plan on doing more stories in this format? Yes, I did an audio-only novella last year with Audible, and then this was my first one with Simon & Schuster, and I would love to do another one for sure, because it's just a lot of fun, and I just like anything that makes my brain do things differently. So, and I had a lot of fun doing it, so I will definitely do it again.
Oh, I hope so. Tell me.
Although, I mean, it's a lot to, I mean, we have some high standards now, so I don't know. We'll see. Only if you can do it. So,
all right, should we?
Yeah. Yes, we could
do one more.
One more, yeah. Oh, did you need to recover after narrating the book? Like we need to recover after reading the books. Ooh, that's a good end. Brings both of our worlds together.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, I just be brain dead every day after recording, just because it's so heavy, and you know it was such raw emotion when you're reading it out loud. I was exhausted. It really tuckered me out every day, emotionally and mentally and spiritually. Yeah, I think I would like hug my kids extra hard those days.
For sure. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I'm so glad that we figured this out. I'm so happy that I got to be your first to do this. So, yeah, and just
don't mess this up, AJ. Just get in there.
Oh. We pulled it off. We did it. That's all that matters. We got here. So it was so lovely to meet you. You did such an amazing job on this. I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you. Everybody, tell everybody to listen to this. It's
yes, one of our own right there. Yeah. One of our own. Go grab it. It's right there. Get it. All right. Have a good night or day, whatever time it is.
Tuning in.
Bye.